Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Welcome back, shipmates. This is Daily Dose Radio as we sail the 5 seas of the Psalter. We've been sailing the 5 seas of the Psalter for 2.5 years or better now. So today we're at Psalm 112. That's our port of call. And we're looking today at verses 5 and 6. We made comparisons yesterday to Psalm 111. And, of course, we've been talking about the relationship. These two psalms hold hands. The first one, Psalm 111, is about the great works of the Lord. Psalm 112 is about the blessed man. But we saw yesterday how there are comparisons, direct, exact comparisons between the two. And the blessed man is exhibiting the nature described of the Lord in Psalm 111. We're going to see a little bit more of that today in verses 5 and 6. So let me go ahead and read those for you. A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. His righteousness shall be an everlasting remembrance. Now, we began with the first section, which is 1 through 4. That's the blessing of the blessed man, if we can put it like that. The blessed man fears God and delights in his commandments, and his seed is mighty upon the earth. Wealth and riches are in his house, and a light rises for him in darkness. That is, the Lord protects and delivers the blessed man. And we also saw how the nature and character of God is demonstrated by the blessed man, in that the blessed man, his righteousness stands or endures forever, and he is gracious and compassionate. So those two comparisons. Now today, we're going to begin the second section of Psalm 112, which is about his righteousness being described. What does it look like from the outside? So the blessed man is blessed, but what does he look like? How does he behave? The description of his righteousness. How would you describe that blessing? Okay, so we begin with verse 5. He shows favor and lends, and he guides his affairs with discretion. So his affairs are first up. How does he guide his house? How does he guide his finances? How does he guide the material continuum that the Lord has blessed him with? If we said wealth and riches are in his house, his righteousness stands forever. But what does that look like from the outside? From the outside, verse 5 tells us his affairs are done with discretion. He is showing favor and lending. So he's liberal in the way he behaves towards others. And this is like 111 verse 5. In 111 verse 5, it's not the same Hebrew word, so the language is a little bit different, but the intention is the same. You see here in verse 112, it says, the blessed man shows favor and lends. And in verse 5, it says of the Lord, he gives meat unto them that fear him. So the Lord is giving meat, or he's providing for those who don't have. And what's the blessed man doing? The very same thing. He's showing favor and lending. So the blessed man, again, is exhibiting in his outward actions the nature and character of his God. He guides his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. His righteousness shall be in everlasting remembrance. So his righteousness is described exactly by the charity and the liberal nature of his giving. He is a man who graciously gives. Why is that? Because his God graciously gives. So we have him showing favor and lending and guiding his affairs with discretion. And that discretion, what's it based on? His discretion is based on his delight in following God's commands. Verse 1. Remember, the blessed man fears the Lord, and he delights in his commandments, delights greatly in his commandments. And those two things are the foundation for the blessings and for his actions. His righteousness being described here is being gracious, showing favor, lending, and the discretion with which he guides his affairs. All of that is rooted in his fear of the Lord and his greatly delighting in the commandments. I hope you'll join me tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.